Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is James with Chasing Adventure, and today we're in the garage. We have a little bit of car work to do. Now real quick right off the bat, I want to tell you I am not a professional. I'm not an automotive technician. I am actually too broke to pay someone to work on my car, so I do it myself. I've learned to do it. I've done it over the years, and I'm going to continue to do it. Today we have to come inside the car. We're going to come inside the cabin and take a look at this clock spring, which if you don't know where the clock spring is, number one, the clock spring sits right behind the airbag, center of the steering wheel, and it controls a number of things. First and foremost, it controls the steering wheel controls. These are the most obvious, of course, radio, and then your cruise control, which neither of them work. I can get this to turn on, but my cruise control light flashes on set. And I actually cannot set the speed on cruise. None of this works. When I get about 60 miles an hour, I could probably turn the volume up, but I can't turn the volume down. Now the horn, it does control that. The horn still works, luckily. But my airbag light's flashing, so there's a problem there. So this, over time, they wear out. The OEM ones wear out, and you have a couple options. You can buy OE again, or you can go ahead and buy the cheap Amazon and eBay ones, which I have done the Amazon and eBay ones. This is actually my second one I've done, and it's gone out. They don't last. I've decided to go OE because I want it to last. Couple reasons why you'd want to do this. Number one, you want your airbag to work. You don't want to eat the steering wheel. That's probably going to hurt. Number two, you need your horn. The horn is very important. It obviously lets people know you are in a lane or in the intersection when they pull out in front of you. It's a great warning device. But it also controls the ABS and the stability control, which this car comes with. And I want these working because if they start to go out, in the past when I had one go out, the first one I changed, every time I took a turn, my brakes would lock up. I actually had to disconnect the ABS and the stability control. And I drove like that for a while until I replaced it with this one. But this one's gone out, and I really don't want to deal with that in the middle of a long drive or on the way to take the kids to school. I don't want to deal with car issues. It's no biggie just to reach under here and disconnect them, but I want those safety features working. So real quick before we do that, I have to go ahead and disconnect the battery. I've already moved the seat back, so give me 1 minute. I'll be right back with you. Okay, so the tool set I've chosen to go with today, I'm going to use this Icon 3H General Service set. I picked it up off of eBay for a really good deal. I do have a 3/8 ratchet. It's not a flex head, it's just a standard ratchet. And we also have their shallow and deep socket, standard and metric. So I'm gonna use these to disconnect the battery. I haven't used them before as far as this set, so I'm just curious to see how that ratchet feels. My primary ratchet that I normally use, it's a snap-on. Like I said, I'm not a professional, but this is my favorite ratchet. It's my go-to for just about everything. And I have a Icon 1/2 inch, which is it's a great ratchet, but it's not my favorite. It's not a locking flex. Kind of gets on my nerves. And of course, I have a variety of Icon sockets, missing a few. They've been used. These tools have been well used. Okay, so I got the battery disconnected. Real quick, just to show you, got the positive and negative off. I got them tucked down so they're not going to be in the way. The reason why we want to disconnect the battery, obviously, is we're dealing with an airbag, and they can cause some serious injury. I don't want to get hit in the face. So if you're going to do this, I strongly encourage you to just disconnect the battery. Grab my light real quick because we have to get up under here the steering wheel and remove the cover, as well as get ready to disconnect the airbag. Right, guys, before we go any further, we got the battery disconnected. We have to remove the clamshell to do that. There's actually a couple things we have to do. So I need to disconnect this lower panel here. I'm using my Milwaukee. A couple of screws we have to take out, Phillips. Careful when you're disconnecting this. That should be good enough to where I can get in there and get that out. So now we're gonna get the clamshell. It's just a Phillips. It's not a hard job. It's just kind of tight. Since I am doing the whole assembly, I'm gonna go ahead and remove both sides. Now what we're gonna do, get the clamshell off. in this hole, and it's kind of hard to see. I'm gonna try to get it in there. You see that little bitty metal bar? We have to hit that metal bar. We have to push it with the flathead. That's gonna release the airbag. That's gonna allow us to get to the clock spring to start the disassembly process. Okay, so our next step in this process, we're gonna go ahead and release this. I've got some flatheads, I've got a pick. This is my least favorite part of the process. Number one, it's a pain for me. I don't know if it's assembly's just worn out or what, but it's a little difficult to release the airbag. Number two, it requires an awkward position. So we're gonna try to get it done. Bear with me. If I can't get you to move so you're not. Okay, after some finagling and persuasion, we finally got it out. As you see here, she's been free from the mechanism. Now I just need to disconnect stuff. Guys, so we got the airbag off. These are the, if you don't know, these are the connectors for the airbag. They're color coded too, so you really can't get it wrong. You have a yellow and orange. Set the airbag down there. So what's left now is really to take off the steering wheel. Take the steering wheel off, and then we need to pull it out, and then we'll go ahead and install the new clock spring assembly. So we're gonna get this side off right here. We'll get this out, and then we'll install the new assembly, then reinstall the steering wheel, airbag, of course, and then make sure everything works. So let's get to it. So to get the steering wheel off, we're gonna need a 19 millimeter. I'm gonna try it. I usually, when I've done this in the past, use my breaker bar just to kind of get it off. We're gonna try it with this little 3/8 ratchet. See if it's strong enough to do it, or if I got enough leverage to do it. I don't know. Yep. It's pretty easy. Set that there. And this should just pop right on off. We got a bunch of wiring to disconnect. Now this is gonna be for our steering wheel controls. There's one. That's the airbag. So we've got the steering wheel off, nice and simple. And next we just need to get this guy out of here. So it looks like we're gonna have just a couple of Phillips to get it out of there. Doesn't seem like it's gonna be anything too challenging, but what I wanna do real quick is go ahead and disconnect these connectors real quick while we're down here. I got a pick. I guess I could use that, huh? Work smarter, not harder. Just want to be careful. Obviously, you don't want to break anything. Now these go in order. Let me see. Okay. I think this gray one. There's one. There's two. Okay. So when we put it back on, we'll put the yellow then gray. So it's gray, then yellow off. So back on will be yellow then gray. All right, let's get these screws out. They're Phillips. Looks like it's just two of them. Let's see where else we're held on to here. No, okay. Feels like there's something back here. Got that screw out. I think it's just this other screws on there. A little deeper than I thought. All right, now that's out. That's loose. Let's just shine the light and see what we got going on here. No, no, no. Okay, it's a tab. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna get this hardware out real quick. Hopefully, unless the new one came with it. Let me see. That would be convenient. Yep, it did. Sweet. All right, guys. So we got the Clockspring assembly off. Everything's unhooked. I've got the steering wheel stuff sitting in the passenger seat. Our next step is to come over here, and we have to get. Nope, there's Lexi, our lab. We have to get the steering angle sensor, which I already disconnected from here, onto the new assembly. So I'm gonna go ahead and take this, get this attached to here, and then we'll get to the install. Okay, so we're gonna take this assembly. I've left this little locking mechanism in here so we don't disturb the clock spring. I'm gonna get this slid in, make sure it's flush, get everything plugged back up, and then we're gonna get her button back up. And so I really believe, guys, that just about anybody can do this. I mean, it's not that I do this because I just really don't have the cash flow to pay someone to do something, especially if I can learn how to do it. Now I know other people, especially professionals in the trade, this is how you make your living. And man, I think if I could go back over and go to school, I would definitely give it a shot. I really enjoy working with my hands. I really enjoy this type of work. A lot of friends and family that enjoy working on cars, but I know it's definitely a labor of love. Some people do it so much they don't even want to mess their own cars, but for me, for now, I do enjoy it. And I've done quite a bit of work to this vehicle since I've owned it for 2 years. I've replaced the front CV axles. I did the AC compressor because I didn't want to pay $4 grand for the guy at the shop to do it. Man, it still needs a lot more work, and we're gonna do that work on this channel. Okay, I just gotta give this some love. Give me 1 second. Go back on the back here, and there it is. Okay, so that's on. Now I'm gonna lightly use this impact driver to get these screws in. I don't want to break the plastic here. This was a couple $100, believe it or not. They're relatively expensive for such a annoying issue. Okay, so that's on. Our next step is to get the steering wheel in, and we have to route some wires through this. It's not terribly complicated. We do want to be careful when doing this. All right, guys, our next step, sorry, my son's out here flying his drone. We got to remove this little plastic piece, so we want to be careful. It slides off just like that. That way our steering wheel can sit on here. Now, if you see right here, there's an orientation line right here, which way the steering wheel should be. There's one on the wheel, and there's a little yellow tab right here. So we're going to take the steering wheel. Got to get the wiring routed through. Try to do it one-handed here. Just one at a time goes through this little hole, just like that. And then we're gonna slide this up. Okay. All right, so I have one plug to plug in. I'm sorry, I'm doing this one-handed, folks. So we're gonna get that in. Little connector in. And now, make sure I got this light pulled out. Get the light so you can see. See how we have our little line marked up? I still need to push it in to seat it all the way through, and we're seated. So we have that little yellow soft tab there, and we have our line lined up with the marker line on the steering wheel. So all that's left now is to get this bolt on. We're gonna get it torqued to spec, and then attach the airbag. So from what I can tell, just brief searches, you know, anywhere between 39 to 45 foot-pounds of torque is appropriate for the steering wheel nut. I don't have a spec guide, and I probably should, you know, have a repair manual and, you know, all the true specs on this thing. I don't. Don't hate me for that, but it's just not something I have. So let me grab, this is a 1/2-inch torque wrench. Let me grab my 19, and unfortunately, I'm gonna have to use a small extension. You know what? This might work actually right here. I know it's impact, but it'll be all right. This is just an Icon torque wrench. I've had it for a few years. It does great. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this set up to about 45 foot-pounds real quick. Oh, I guess before I do that, I forgot I do need to. Oh, that's already secured. We're good. Okay. Don't want to pull on that too hard. I'm just gonna get it to where it snugs up in here. All right, we're snug. I don't want to go too much. There we go. All right, so the steering wheel's on. Nice and snug as it should be. Our new Clockspring assembly. Now it's the airbag. And if I could show you real quick what we were fidgeting with earlier. So now we're looking at the steering wheel. This is that locking mechanism. And you have to hit it just right. I mean, just right for it to release the airbag. So sometimes you gotta fight with it. And what I was doing simply was taking a flathead, stick it in here, and you just push it, and it's working now because obviously we can see it. But I think it's just real tight. And it takes some finagling. So if you do this yourself, just be patient. You just gotta work it. It's obviously tighter when you get the airbag in because it's actually locking around the airbag. So just food for thought whenever you do this, or if you do this yourself, just take your time, you'll get it. All right, so let me get these tabs ready to go for install. They just come straight up. This is a fairly straightforward process when it comes to reinstalling these. You just want to be careful, you know, make sure you don't damage the connectors. So like we said, it's color coded. You have an orange and a yellow. We're simply going to take the yellow and connect it to the yellow. You just push it down. There's this black little locking tab. So once we make sure it's seated, just lock her in place. And then with the orange, same thing. You make sure it's seated, and then lock it down. And that's it. And then lastly, we have this little bitty wire. There's a tab on this side. Need to just connect it to. And then we just line her back up. And give her a nice little click in. All right, so that's in, that's done. That was the majority of the work. I still have to put the clamshell back on, which is no big deal. It's supposed to be 4 screws, I only have 3. Like I said, this car was heavily used before I got it. So it's missing a few pieces of hardware here and there. Let's get the top piece back on. What I'm actually gonna do is I'm just gonna button this up and we'll get to the testing process. So give me one moment, okay? All right, cut. So we're gonna get this top piece seated back on right here, nice and flush. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna get this bottom piece on and then hook the battery back up, and then we're gonna go ahead and get to the testing process, make sure everything works right. All right, we got the battery hooked up. We've got the horn working. Is that seated in like it should be? I believe so. All right, I'm gonna slide down here just out of paranoia. Really don't be hitting the face of the airbag. We're gonna fire up. Okay, we have a couple of lights on. I've got my airbag light flashing, and I have my VDC as aerial drive control. That's off. So I'm gonna hook the scan tool up. It does pair to my phone, and I'm going to take this car on a little drive and see if we can't get those to clear out. So I'll be right back. Folks, while I'm done with the steering angle calibration, I used my Top Scan Pro to just go ahead and take it for a short drive and recalibrated it. So my VDC light's off, my ABS and brake lights are off, and all the steering wheel controls function like normal. So give me just a moment, let me get back to the house and I'll show you that. So we're back at the house. So just to recap, so this is the volume control right here. As you can see, works as it should. Goes up and down. You can power, change the tune, whatever you want, you know, as far as like modes and stations. This right here is the cruise control. It powers up before on the set. Obviously I can't set it because I'm in park and I'm not going highway speed. But before, there's a set light down here that would just like flash. This light would not come on unless I was doing about 65, 70 miles an hour, and I could not control my volume up unless I was doing that same speed. Volume down did not work. None of the rest of these buttons worked right here. So the only volume up between 65 and 70 miles an hour, and I could turn the cruise control on, but the set light would flash. Now, all that's fixed. There's no issue there, and it's gonna work like it should. I'm really excited. All right, folks. Just to recap, we went ahead and did the steering, the Clockspring, got everything reset. It's working like it should, and I'm not done with this vehicle. This Pathfinder still needs a lot of love. I got to replace the fuel pump because the sending unit's going bad on there, and I never really know how much fuel I have unless I just do the math, which I do, as well as the valve covers and gaskets need to be redone, and I have a couple of coil packs left that I can't get to without taking that intake off, so those are going to be done together at the same time. It's a little bit bigger of a job, takes a little bit more time to get there, but we're gonna get there. But I hope you guys can like and subscribe and you stay tuned, because after this, when I'm done with this, I have a truck that's coming. I'm gonna give it to my son. He's 9 right now. He'll be of driving age in a few years, unfortunately. It's coming fast. But that truck needs a lot of love and attention, and he's gonna help me work on that side by side, because it's gonna be his one day. Much like the Pathfinder and the truck that we're getting, sometimes we need a little attention and a little repair, and I just want you guys to know you can find that in Jesus. You guys can find salvation and healing in His name, and in His name only. You know, one of my goals for this channel is I'd hope to grow it. Don't want to make any money off of you guys, of course, but I'd hope to grow it. And one of the biggest things, the biggest dreams I have is to fund missionaries, and our church does that. We do sponsor one family right now that's going to the Balkans, and you know, just by you guys watching, liking, and subscribing, you guys can help us meet that goal of sending 100 families to the nations. And I think it's important. And if that's not your thing, that's fine. If you like to work on vehicles, you know, this is going to be if you're an average Joe like me, this is going to be just a family-friendly channel. But I hope you guys can partner with us. Hit that like, hit that subscribe button. If you have a better way to do the Clockspring, let me know. If you have any tools suggestions, let me know. And we're going to get in there and review some of the tools that I have. I really think that Icon General Service Kit is excellent. I didn't get to use it too much, just a few parts today. But yeah, if you guys want to see more reviews on what I have and what I use, hit that follow button. All right, I appreciate you watching. Thank you. I hope you guys have a great day, and I hope you had a Merry Christmas, and looking forward to seeing you in the next video. Have a good one.